and welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this card using the Crafter's Companion You Are the One stencil and stamp set. Have a quick look at what's in the pack because I'm not going to use it all on this particular card. Check out the channel because there will be 3 cards using this set all in different ways. So we have, let's have a look at the stencils first. So to start with, we have the main stencil, which I am not using on this card at all. And you actually get the stencil and the mask. So the stencil is where you put your ink or whatever through to create the image, and the mask is where it covers up that particular image. So you can use those in different ways. Then along with that, we get these lovely little, again, stencils and the masks. One for the sun or moon and one for clouds. And the reason these are useful is because this whole range from Crafter's Companion is all about silhouettes. So having these are great. So we're going to be using, excuse me, this one in this particular card, just that out of the stencil. But along with that, you also get a stamp set. You get these 2 silhouette stamps, one with the man and the lady, in fact, it's that way up, the man and the lady holding hands. You get this one with the umbrella, which is the one we're going to use on this card. And then you get the 3 sentiments. You are the one, love is patient and kind, and a heart full of hugs and kisses. So if you look, there's one video that uses the let me just grab, no, can't. There is one video, I will actually grab it, let me, bear with me. I've gone, but I'm coming back. So this one, which uses the stencil, the full thing, and one of the stamps. There's this one, and there's another one where we're going to emboss with the stencil, so have a look for that on the YouTube channel. Okay, so let's have a look. We are going to do an inky background, so I'm going to grab my mat, and we're going to create this this blue background with a couple of distress oxides. So I have Stormy Sky and I have Chipped Sapphire. So we're going to start with our Stormy Sky, and we're going to ink the whole piece of card. I'm going to grab myself a piece of copy of paper just so that I can use it to put my hands on and I'm not getting too much ink on my hands. So we're literally just going to start by putting the ink over, and I am not overly concerned if it's not a really smooth blend. Trying to create a sky, so just adds a little bit more texture if it's not completely smooth, but knowing me, I'll probably keep going and it will end up being smooth anyway. So let's just keep adding this is our Stormy Sky. So you see, I can't resist. I'm going back in and evening it up a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to flip this around because I prefer to kind of ink in from this way, and that's why I've got the piece of paper now. It means I am not putting my sort of greasy fingers, making finger marks in, and also it means my fingers are not going to be too inky. Okay, so we'll just keep going with this for the moment. And then, so that's kind of got my all over base colour. Just blend that in to this bit a bit more. There we go. And then I'm going to grab some Chipped Sapphire and I'm going to kind of just bring that in more from the edges. I'm not bringing it right into the whole piece, but I just want a darker kind of edge. So I'll start by putting the Chipped Sapphire on, and then I'll go back with my Stormy Sky in a moment and blend that sort of out into the piece of card. Again, I'm turning it and then putting my piece of paper over so that I am not creating too much of a mess. So I'm going back in now with the Stormy Sky just to, you can see immediately it softens that edge. I want a little bit more there, and it just softens that edge out. I'll keep doing this, going around. You can see it just because the a little bit more on, because the chip sapphire, the distress oxide have quite a long, what we call open time. So that means quite a long time before, a relative long time before they dry. It means you can go back in and work with them. And again, providing you've got the right card, because some cards, if you haven't got the right kind of card, then blending becomes impossible, because some of them have a chalky surface and it literally just grabs and sucks the ink in, and then you can't do anything with it. So the card I am using for this is Crafter's Companion White Stamping Card. Okay, so I'm not going to put my inks away just yet, but I am just going to clear this up. I'm going to give it a spray, and I've got a bit of rice paper because that's quite a nice lot of ink there, and we're going to mop that up. Put that in my stash for backgrounds. Right, literally just going to mop it up like this is a piece of kitchen roll. Okay, so I'm just going to put that down there for the moment. Might need to grab it again in a minute, and then I'm just going to dry that off just to make sure I haven't got too much wet there. Okay, so that's that done. I'm going to give this a blast with the heat gun. The oxides will still blend, but I say blend, they will still do your kind of water reactive kind of things, blending one of them, but they layer a little bit better if you just heat set in between. It doesn't make them permanent or waterproof, but it just allows the next layer that you put on to sort of to stand out. And that's the great thing, because it allows lighter colours to stand out on top of the darker colours. So I've got the background, but I want to add in now some clouds. So I'm just going to grab my stencil here. I'm not going to put any more ink onto the brush because there's quite a bit of ink left on here. So we're going to just literally use this to put the clouds in. Now, don't just put them in the middle. Sort of, you want it to look fairly natural. So you want some of your clouds sort of off the page, if you like. And although at the moment, if you look at that, it might not look like there's anything there, but when you take that away, you've already got a nice little ghost of a cloud there. And you can see that the lighter ink is showing up. I'm not looking for an in-your-face kind of effect here. I want something that is background. I don't want it to sort of take away from the focus of the stamp, which I'm going to add in a minute. So just put a few in, and then I'm going to do the same with the chip sapphire, but again just using the ink that I've got. And I am just gonna, I've not got too much on there. I don't want too much of this chip sapphire because I don't want it, again, I don't want it to sort of overpower the rest of the picture. So you can see I've got my clouds going on here, and I'm not worried that I'm going over the top of another because that's what happens. Let's put another one in there, and maybe just a little bit showing there. I think that will be fine. I'm just going to grab my stamp and just check that would do. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. Now I am let's just put the lids back on these for the moment, although I might want that chipped sapphire again in a minute. Let's put the brushes to one side. Those there for the moment, and let's just quickly block this up. Same bit of paper. Okay. Whoops. Lost my glasses there. Right. Okay, so that's kind of my background. You can see I've got some raindrops, but I'm going to do that after I've stamped, and I've also added a bit of ground to make to ground them so they're not just floating in the air. But again, I'll do that once I've stamped. Now, I am using this little ink pad here. This is VersaFine. Now, you won't find this on the website, but what you will find is VersaFine Clair. And the colours that are comparable to this, I've written them down, sort of dark twilight or dark medieval blue. Now, though for those of you that, if you're not aware of VersaFine, VersaFine is a really lovely ink. It's waterproof, so once you've stamped it, you stamp your image with it, you can paint over it and it won't move. But VersaFine came out originally and it had a palette, I think, of about 12 colours, and they're all quite dark. The formula they had then was slightly tweaked. There's nothing majorly different between this and VersaFine Clair, but the slight tweak that they made allowed them to bring out brighter colours. I don't fully understand it. So there is no difference between VersaFine and VersaFine Clair. Slightly different colours, and you can get a lot more colours in the VersaFine Clair. So I don't have those, which is why I'm still using my old little VersaFine. But look on the website, because we have the dark twilight and the dark medieval blue, which will both work equally fine with this card. Right, so we are going to use the stamp platform. Now, in one of the other videos, the one that I showed you the card of earlier, I didn't use the stamping platform, and it was a mistake, because you can see I've got a shadow on my stamp. So it is, even for something like this, it is worth using this just to make sure that you've got everything covered. So we're going to grab our stamp, and they are silhouette stamps, so they are solid, if you like. There's no detail to them. So this is one of the reasons I've gone back to using the stamp platform for this card, is because you need to make sure that you've got a complete coverage. Now, if you use a water-based ink, which is the mistake I made in the previous card because I couldn't find my VersaFine to begin with, is that water-based ink pads like the Distress Oxides, they tend to sort of, word is like puddle, if you like, on the stamp surface, and then you get kind of blotching. Whereas something like a VersaFine, which is an oil-based formula, will cover the stamp. Now, if your stamps are dirty, a bit like mine, you might find you've got little bits of fluff that stop things from going on. But you can see you've got a really nice coverage, and you need that for a big silhouette stamp like this. Okay, so if you go across and watch the video for this one, then have a think about doing this technique for the stamping as opposed to what I did on there. Have a look on there for what not to do, but have a look on this one for the best way to do this. So I have my stamp ink, so we're going to just put the lid on that before I put my arm in it, and we're just going to give it a good old press down. And now what will happen if this hasn't stamped well, I can then go back in, and you see I've got a few little blotches. Now, if I try to do that, you get the ghosting because with the best will in the world, relining stamps up is a tricky thing. So we've re-inked this one, and then we're going to just give it, in fact, I'm going to turn my press this way just so that the image is closer to me, so that I'm not having to kind of lean and press. I'm just pressing down now, and make sure I've got everything out. Okay. Now it's moved, so I'm not going to try that again because I didn't put a stamp there, but I'm going to go with that. Now you can see I've got little bits of the clouds coming through there, but again, I'm not too fussed about that. I am just going to stick a little piece of paper in there so that I don't get blue ink all over my thing. Right, so just going to give that a quick blast with the heat gun before I then go and do my next bit. Okay, so I want to add in a little bit of a grounding. What we don't want is for our people to be floating. So I've got a little bit of the chipped sapphire and a little bit of water. Now, what will happen is this will not move because it is the waterproof, but the bit underneath this we're avoiding may start to move a little bit, but I'm not too worried. So we're going to kind of go a bit more of the ink. And I'm trying not to go over because it does kind of, we'll go over. These are opaque inks. So let's give her somewhere for her little toe to go on to. And round the boot. Doesn't need to be huge. Just needs to make them look like they're not just floating in air. Like so. So you've now got that nice little grounded bit. And we'll just clean the brush off. I'm going to need that brush in a moment. And then we're just going to clean that ink again so that I'm not putting things in it and getting things messy. Okay, so there we go. Right. Now I want a little bit of what looks like rain. So I am just going to take a bit of water on my brush, and I'm just going to very lightly, maybe that's too light, there we go, a few little drops. And I'm trying to be too delicate, I think. I'm not getting enough drops. In fact, let's do this. Probably going to be better. Just want to make it look like it's raining from these clouds. So even though I heat set it to give myself a little bit, I think that's going to be a little bit too much there, but not to worry. They will still react to this. So now I'm just going to go in and just so it looks like we've got a little bit of rain going on. I shouldn't have done those 4 in a row. I'm going to have to amend that. There we go. So we've got our little raindrops on our card. Okay, so now then we need to put this onto our base card. So we're going to get our glue out. I can move. Yes, I can move that. I need to stamp the sentiment in a moment, but that's okay. Grab the glue and stick our card. Yeah. So we've gone for blue and white here. So blue, nice dark blue base to go with the blue inks, and then a nice white in between to break it up. And there's our card. And I'm bringing it down just slightly because the sentiment is quite large. And and will take up quite a bit of space at the top of the card. So, right, so last thing we need to do then is to stamp our sentiment. So let's just put the, ooh, try not to lose my pin there. So we're going to use the love is patient and kind sentiment. Peel that off and it will just fit onto this block. There we go. And again, we're going to use the VersaFine to stamp this onto this little bit of card. So it is quite a big sentiment because of the fact that it's kind of diagonal. Just want to make sure I press down on this everywhere. There we go. Excellent. Ooh, butterfingers. Oh. Put the lid back on my ink before I put my elbow in it. Then we're going to put this on there. And then last thing after that, I think, yeah, we're pretty much done. I realise I don't have my little pearls, but that's okay. We'll live without the pearl. Okay. What am I doing? This glue. This is the one I want. This is the one that I want. Okay. Oh, I'll put this on before I put anything else on. So, as you see, it is quite a big sentiment. It is going to take up a fair amount of room. And there. All there. So, okay. No pearls to add on, but you can see what I did was just I put 3 here and 3 here just to add a little bit more detail. So that's the second of 3 cards that 3 videos that we're recording using this set. So make sure you have a look on the channel to see what else I've done with this. Thank you for joining me.